It can happen to any of us.
No one thinks that while they're at work, they're going to be a victim.
It can happen at any time.
Within a matter of, a few short seconds, your entire life's changed.
A violent act, a natural disaster, a death unexpected.
When you have that happen, how do you put that back together?
For 40 years, the Victim Assistance Program of Summit County has been answering that question.
They picked me up and they carried me until I could carry myself a little further.
Pam Hinton is a professional, a teacher, a school administrator.
I was assaulted by 2 students, and I had a serious spinal cord injury and also a rotator cuff injury. I thought I did not need any help after that. And about a week later, I realized I did need it.
24 hours a day, 365 days a year, victim assistance advocates are on duty in Summit County, prepared to arrive at the scene of a crime, or deliver news that a family member has died, or respond to a natural disaster, or bring sense to the place where someone has taken their own life. They work in our police departments, our courts, and provide counseling at victim assistance offices on Furnace Street. It is a place where refuge and comfort have been available since the days of America's Great Depression. The Furnace Street Mission was founded by the Reverend Bill Denton in 1927. After fighting for the British in World War I, he came to Akron with a community of immigrants from Cornwall. Work was plentiful in 1924 in Akron, and Bill went to work at the rubber shops, drank too much, was fired, and found his way at a revival at the Old City Mission. He became a street minister, first working out of a bar, and then opening a mission in the toughest part of town. Bill Denton was passionate about his religion. He was pastor to the prisoner, the pimp, the bootlegger, and the downtrodden, the people whom others tried to forget. 11 times he walked the hallway at the Ohio Penitentiary, accompanying men to the death chamber where they met their maker in Ohio's electric chair. Bill Denton was a charismatic minister, performer, and an evangelical entrepreneur for 40 years as Akron went bust, then boomed during the Second World War. His radio ministry would become the longest-running Christian radio broadcast in the United States. By 1965, he had the help of his 22-year-old son Robert in building the first halfway house for prisoners in the state of Ohio. Bob was about to earn his degree in theology and pursue a career in religious music. But after attending Akron's Police Academy and enrolling in the PhD program at Case Western Reserve, Bob followed his father in the field of prisoner reentry. Denton House served nearly 100 early release felons who were benefiting from 35 free community programs providing services to offenders. The 1970s were a time of turmoil, political chaos, and conflict. It was also a decade that provided for a new sociology. And as Bob Denton helped parolees from Ohio's prison system, he realized that the number of programs providing services to their victims was zero. Victims of crime were left alone, fearful, confused, disoriented. Out of his studies came an idea for a Center for Restorative Justice, opened in 1972. That year, the first real victim assistance program in the United States to serve all victims of violence was founded in Akron, Ohio, and served about 100 people. A year later, victim assistance handled 900 cases. Training was crucial for volunteers who were taking on the pain of others. Bob Denton developed America's first training programs for victim advocates for crisis intervention. The services that are offered all over the country today by victim assistance programs were pioneered and developed in Akron in the early 1970s by the program's founders. And in 1975, with like-minded pioneers from around the United States, Bob helped found the National Organization of Victim Advocates. He was its first president and editor of Nova's newsletter. A year later, Bob Denton opened Akron's first shelter for women and children who were victims of domestic abuse. What victim advocates learn today from training born in an academic environment still has a foundation in the approach honed over 60 years by Bob's father. The legacy of Reverend Bill Denton that infused the new wave of victims' rights was that to serve people in pain, the advocate approaches people without making judgments, and the work is very much hands-on.
One of the most important things that we do as advocates initially is listen. We do whatever we can to ease the person's fear of law enforcement. We see a lot of shock, a lot of numbness, a lot of frustration, extreme fear. When they're traumatized, they feel like they're losing their mind. And then after the detectives do the investigative work, then they will open the door for us to step in and work with the family to meet their emotional needs, their medical needs, their physical needs, if there are any, financial needs if we are able to. But we all work as a team on scene.
When you go to a scene like that, there's a lot of emotion flying about. You have the people that are crying, screaming in anger and pain. We cannot let that inhibit what we're doing as officers. We need advocates on scene that can take away that pain and deal with that emotional crisis that's going on at that particular time so that we can do our job to the best of our ability.
Today, 17 professional staff serve some 20,000 people a year, from an office inside the Akron Police Department, at the Summit County Sheriff's Office, and at police departments throughout the county. And they are on call 24/7, 365. Going to court can be an intimidating prospect, especially if it is the first time, and harder still if you have to confront the one who hurt you. Victim advocates stay with people whose lives have been turned upside down, from the scene of the crime, through the investigation, to the courthouse, and beyond. The Victim Assistance Program is the only agency that responds when there is a suicide. It responds to families who have lost loved ones in traffic accidents, and assists domestic abuse victims who have court protection orders. Victim Assistance provides training for professionals, police officers, healthcare and community workers, and college students who intern with the program. Victim Assistance provides group crisis intervention at schools and businesses following a tragic event. And on many occasions over the years, the training in crisis intervention, first developed by Bob Denton, have been deployed nationally. After Hurricane Andrew, the Oklahoma City bombing, and after 9/11 in New York, to name a few. Reverend Bill Denton found answers when he was at the lowest point of his life. He brought solutions to Akron's poorest people when the city was at the low point of its history. The legacy that began in 1927, modernized in 1972 for the 20th century by Reverend Bob Denton, continues into the new century with new leadership and new hopes based on old ideals, providing direct care to people in need, one person at a time.
Summit County is really in the forefront of responding to the needs of victims in our community.
I look at this job as a ministry. I'm very blessed to be able to reach out to people that are hurting on a daily basis and help in some small way.
I will forever be grateful for the hands and hearts that helped me.